Hey guys, this is Ken from Silly Westies again. Well, we got here is a REA building. Well, what's left of it? You name it, I've got it. Here's, let's see, what in the world's you got there? That's the spare parts from the crane, the transfer crane. Got a lot of stuff. Don't throw nothing away. You got plenty of doors and windows, and you'll say, well, man, why do you have so much of that building left? Well, I took a structure that really had a nice look to it, and I made it a backdrop structure. So this structure is 24 inches long, and so I didn't use the roof, and I didn't use all the dock doors and all the windows. And a lot of times I don't even use the clear plastic windows, but I've got them. Don't even use the foundations. I'm not very fond of the foundations. Got steps. I've got parts here that probably from years back that I'll probably use, but this is actually for the oil facility project that I'm wanting to get back to. Even got the concrete foundations. Sometimes it just depends on your imagination. You can really just keep going. Maybe eventually it's good to throw something out. My wife, she says I'm a pack rat. And I even have other ones. I even sometimes save sprues. You'll say, oh my gosh, he's got more plastic. He's got a ton of money in plastic. Yeah, but look at here. I've used that styrene somewhere. Look here, I was trying to even do a bending, maybe like for making pipes. This was straight. You'll say, but you didn't heat it up. Now, sometimes if you don't bend it too hard, you can fracture it and the styrene will break. But it could be columns, it could be pipes for even like for doing for like in a refinery or whatever. But of course we've got a lot of lines sometimes in there, and I'll either sand or even take a file and file the seams out. And that's kind of one of the things with using styrene. You can't really help, but sometimes the way the manufacturer is and their styrene, there's going to be a line there, and I like to get rid of that. Some people they don't do that, so you could either that, or sometimes the problem with sandpaper is it'll raise and make it fuzzy. So you may not want to always do that, but having a scrap box, I've used about any kind of either cheap kit. I just the other day used some of this corrugated metal from a pike stuff structure I built years ago. Of course, there we go again. You see, we were talking about cutting out with windows in our first episode, and they actually have window and door cutouts. So you could either use a knife and cut that, and then you wiggle and break. And that's something else I try to throw in a lot of different things. When cutting styrene, you want to make sure that when you are cutting, you can score this several times. And I've actually cut them where they're so small, I don't even know how I can get my fingers on them. But I make a couple of passes like this. And that's kind of small. I've done them smaller. Sometimes I'll need even a pair of pliers, somehow another way just to be able to grab onto them. And I can actually even do it smaller than that, and you can snap that. And that was pretty good because I made several passes. When the bigger sheets you are and the more complicated you cut them out, the harder it is to cut the styrene. The last time I showed you that, I really kept my hand in the way from doing but basically it's a matter of cleaning the paint off. You could sand it, but the blades work so much easier, as you can very well see, to take the paint off. And I've even done it some things where if you don't really care about the the side getting scratched, if that's going to be the side that's towards the inside of your model, don't worry about that too much. I've sometimes even took the side of the blade where it's kind of close, and that little edge right there works really good. See there? Look at that, how that takes that paint right off. It's amazing what you can do with signs, and again, in this day and age with trying to be cost efficient, we want to try to be as frugal as we can with our money buying styrene. And you know, a lot of people's like, golly, I wish I'd have known that. That styrene is about probably, I don't know, it's not quite 100 thou. It's about 20 to 30 thou styrene. I don't have my calipers, and anyway, but sometimes they'll even glue them together and stack them up. Put it down like that, and here's our slope setting glue here, and we just dab that on there a little bit, and again the brush is a little stiff right there, run it around like that, and then you don't want to mess with it too much, because here's another thing. See, now I just had a problem right there. See what happened? It wicked up. There it got some paint on the surface. You'll end up getting a big fat fingerprint in your model. That's bad. So sometimes using pins or X-Acto knives or the edge of a blade to help hold your workpiece down while or tape it down to your work table like this, and then go ahead and put around some glue in there, and then their capillary effect will draw that glue up inside there again. So as you can very well tell, that's wet, and that's going to be wet probably for maybe as long as, maybe even, depending on how much you put on there, 15 minutes. But you'll notice too that this is already starting to set up pretty good. See there? I'm having a time. Look at that. I can't even hardly break it loose there, but that shows you it melts. Funny story. It happened not too long ago. A friend of mine, I know I'll just say his name's Rick. Poor old Rick. He apparently knocked the bottom end of a module, and next thing you know, all he knows, he came back down. He's like, I'm going to change the channel. He had spilled this concoction here, went out all over the place, and wouldn't you know, glued the remote to the module. Couldn't even get to the battery box to undo the battery. Had glued it, everything shut, all that in there. A lot of neat products out there. One of my favorites, Pike Stuff. They've got their handrails and all their wall sections and roof sections, and you can just do a lot of neat scratch building. One thing that's probably not much to talk about as far as this, we're looking again as far as our cost effectiveness. Some of the acetate for windows, I'm not using acetates. Look at here, staples. This is a binder, so get that neat kind of a colored, old-timey colored glass in your factory. Cut that out and glue that in there with a glue-friendly type, and I've actually even used a clear silicone type. You could use tacky glue, a lot of different kinds. Again, this is not like styrene, so you can't use your 10X or your other glue on this stuff, because it won't do that. Now, I've used some glues will actually attack this stuff and will attack the plastic. So being familiarized with some of your plastics really makes a big difference. So glad you came out again. Just watch my videos. Stay tuned for more, and we'll catch you on the next trip.